Hi, I'm Ellen Gormley. Let's take a closer look at tapestry crochet today. So in front of me I have this little swatch I've been playing with. It is in the round because tapestry crochet, I like all the rows to be on the right side, the rounds, the stitches to be on the right side. If you were to turn tapestry crochet, then you would get the wrong side. And as you know, single crochet, which tapestry crochet is usually single crochet, the back side of a single crochet, the front side is like this where the two legs kind of point down to the middle, but on the back side, the legs are spread out like a table, like table legs. You know, they're splayed out a little bit. So it changes the way it looks. It's not completely reversible. So here's the back, but here's the front. So I think that the front or the right side looks the best. So one of my favorite resources for tapestry crochet is Carol Ventura's books. And this is her second book. I'm gonna pull this up a little bit. This is her second book. She also has, you can find them on Amazon, but I admit they are like super expensive because they're out of print. But she has this great book. It's for right and left-handers, and I think it's important to note that when you're doing tapestry crochet that sometimes the patterns are going to be in graph form. So here on the left, this top set, if you were to graph out the colors, like if you were to make this in two colors, then you know the white blocks could be white and the gray squares indicate the other color stitch. Each block is represented by one single crochet. So you could graph it out on graph paper. However, the nature of crochet is that it's slightly slanted. So if you were to graph it out on graph paper, like from, you know, the office supply store, it would look like this. But when you actually stitch it and you're right-handed, it's gonna slant to the right. If you're left-handed, it's gonna slant to the left. So when I flip this video for the left-handers, I don't know how these are gonna turn out. So listen to my words here for a moment rather than the pictures. If you're right-handed, the top of your design is gonna slant to the right, assuming that you're working from the bottom up. And if you're a left-hander working from the bottom up of your project, your stitches are going to slant to the left. So that's important for you to know that in tapestry crochet, the nature of crochet, your designs are going to slant a little bit. Here's some other examples in her book. See how the cats here are slanting to a direction. So it's just the nature of crochet. Remember, tapestry crochet is generally two colors, although there's examples with three, but you do just two colors per round or per row generally. So, and then you work over the color that you're not using. So check also my video that I did on comparing different color work styles of crochet, where I talk about Fair Isle and tapestry and mosaic and the other one that I'm forgetting now. Intarsia. So, but let's look now at our swatch. So I started this little swatch and I am just making it up as I go along. So you can see here that the blue diamond is one blue stitch, three blue stitches, and then one blue stitch in the middle of the top of that the middle stitch of the three group. So it should theoretically look like a plus sign. However, crochet slants and it's not a complete perfect up and down grid. So you just have to remember that that's the nature of crochet when you're designing your design on graph paper. Okay, so it's just going to slant. Let it be what it is and enjoy it for the organic nature that it is. So I have two yarns going. I have a blue yarn and a gray yarn going. And this tapestry crochet, you basically do all single crochet and you change color whenever you need to change color. So with the pattern I've established here for this row is 3 grays and then a blue. So I'm going to do one more gray, but I'm going to finish it with blue. So, because look at the construction of the single crochet very carefully. When I pick up the blue and I pull this loop through, it becomes the top of the loop for the next stitch. Okay, so that's why you have to change color kind of before you're going to need it. So I'm doing a blue stitch right now, but I already need to switch to gray to do the gray stitches, because the loop that you pull through when you finish the stitch becomes the top of the next stitch. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to kind of plan one step ahead when you're ready to change color. So I'm going to do 3 gray, and you see I'm working over the blue when I'm not using it, rather than carrying it along the back like an intarsia type. Okay, so I know that this is the last gray one, and I'm going to do a blue one. So if I just finished the gray here and then tried to just pick up and do a blue here, see, that doesn't work, because the gray, the loop that you pull through, becomes the top of the next stitch. So that doesn't give me a complete stitch in blue. It only gives me half of a stitch in blue. So you have to pull through with the new color on the stitch before you want the color. So if I pull through with the blue, that gray stitch is complete, and this loop here becomes this loop here. It's the top of the next stitch. So pulling through with the new color is important so that you don't end up with half of a stitch in one color and the other half of the stitch in the opposite. So I'm just going to flip back and forth as the pattern asks, or I can be spontaneous and do it however I want, because you know it's crochet and you can do what you want. So this is how tapestry grows. Now I'm going to work over the gray for a stitch, and then looking at the back, there's no strand that's carried. It's all worked over. So it's kind of a dense fabric. You can see there is some holes through it, but it's a pretty dense fabric, because you're actually, that strand that's carried that you're working over fills in some of that space. Now you can do tapestry crochet with other stitches as well, but generally the star of the show in designs for tapestry crochet is the design of the color work, or like where the stitches are placed. So, and it's okay if these twist a little bit behind here. So I'm going to hold the blue down and pick up the gray. So you could do double crochet or whatever, you know, shell stitch or something, but really it's the changing of the color that makes the iconic tapestry crochet, and you really want to see the color design more than the construction, if that makes any sense. The star of the show for tapestry crochet is the design. Okay, so if I'm actually at my join here, so that's why the pattern is a little bit off, because I didn't do any math. When I designed this, I didn't like figure out how many stitches I had to make a perfect repeat. So this is kind of how the pattern is turning out. Now I could also do a solid row of a color like I did down here. I did a solid blue to begin. So if I were making this a bag or something, I would probably like make a solid blue line at the top to finish it off, kind of make it symmetrical. But now I kind of would say, if I want to make it symmetrical top to bottom this way as well, underneath that diamond was I had started another diamond. So like this stitch here would be a blue one, then I'd have gray, 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 just like it was blue, gray, gray, gray. So I think I'll do that. So I'm going to put a blue one here and then gray, gray, gray over the top of these 3 stitches. So let me get started on that a little bit. And so it's just fun. You just make it up as you go along. I could change colors for the next row. Let's see, so this one would actually be a blue, so I need to pull through with the blue if I want that stitch to be blue. So make this one blue. Then I'm going to finish the blue, pick up the gray, and do 3 stitches with gray. 1, just work over the blue. I'll hold it this way a little bit so you can see. Work over the blue. Work over and then switch, because the next stitch is going to be blue. Put 1 here and then do 3 of gray. So I'm just making this up as I go along. There's not a pattern that I'm working off of, but tapestry crochet is really that easy. It's just a matter of graphing it out And you can probably, I know Carol Ventura used to have graph papers online that you could download from her teaching, from her website. So it's just important to remember you can use plain old graph paper, up and down, perfect grid graph paper from the office supply store to like chart out how you want things done. But you just have to keep in mind that things are going to slant. So you can either swatch it or you can just be aware that that's going to happen. You can also Google Tapestry crochet graph paper and see if you can find her website and see if there's a downloadable available anymore. There used to be, but that was a few years ago. So I don't know if she still has her website up and going, but certainly go check it out if you're interested in tapestry crochet. So I hope you've enjoyed this little introduction to tapestry crochet and you give it a try with your favorite colors or making some pictures. So get out your pens and your paper, get out your colored pencils and your graph paper and see what fun that you can make. So thanks so much for joining me. See you next time. Bye.